What's up guys, John here. So look, if you've ever driven for Uber, Lyft, or ever joined DoorDash or any of those delivery apps, you know this life ain't no joke. It's a hustle. I've been in those shoes myself and I hated it. I mean, don't get me wrong, the freedom was good and not having to work a 9 to 5 was dope. But let's be honest, the money was not consistent. Driving around all day, working long hours, grinding on the weekends, and yet you're still wondering if all that was worth it. Because the money sure wasn't it. I was making far less than I was expecting based on the number of hours I was putting in and all the work that I was doing. Some days were good, but other days sucked completely. So if you feel the same way, or if you ever felt this way, just know that you're not alone. Did you know that over 50 million people in the US alone do some form of gig work, either full-time or part-time? That's a huge slice of the workforce, and I bet you most of them feel the same way that you and I do. It's a world where one week you might be stacking cash feeling all good, and then the next, crickets. Dead silence, nada. This inconsistency can be stressful, frustrating, and honestly sometimes overwhelming. But it doesn't have to be that way. So here's the real talk. If you're just trying to wing it every day hoping to make enough, you're playing a tough game. But what if I told you there's a way that you can plan, budget, and even grow your money smarter? So you're not just hoping, but you're actually in control of your money. Over the next few minutes, I want to break this down for you. The nitty-gritty of what it takes to not just survive, but to actually level up your hustle, make more money, cut out the stress, cut out the uncertainties, and all those things that are holding you back. So here's the plan. First, I'll show you how to find the bare minimum weekly number. What is your number that you need to survive each and every week? That's just the number you need to stay afloat. That will be your baseline from which we're going to build up so you can actually get to where you want to be. Then we'll break down those hidden expenses that are sneaking away your money. So that will be gas, repairs, traffic tickets, parking violations, insurance, you name it. And after that, you'll learn how to build a flexible budget built for your fluctuating paycheck. I'll also walk you through the tax, how to save smartly and budget for taxes so that the IRS doesn't come knocking at your door. We'll also talk about the top earning hacks that the top drivers use to make more money. And finally, we'll talk about how to build a savings buffer, boost your credit, and make sure your ride and you are covered with the right insurance. This video isn't just some basic advice. It's everything I wish somebody told me when I was behind the wheel. So stick around, because whether you're a seasoned driver or just thinking about hopping into this life, this video is for you. All right, let's start with the biggest headache most drivers experience, those crazy income swings. One week you're feeling all good, making all this money, but then the next you barely break even, and the stress that actually comes with it. This inconsistency sucks big time because it messes up with everything from your bills, but also to your mental space. But here's the trick. You gotta find your bare minimum budget. And that's the absolute lowest you need each and every week to cover your basics. So that would be your rent, your phone bill, your gas, your groceries, basically anything that you need to survive without getting crushed. Once you have that number locked in, you know exactly what's the lowest amount you need each and every week in order to make sure that nothing gets out of control. When I first did this, I realized that I needed at least $500 every week just to keep things steady. So anything below that was a red flag. It gave me the power to plan better instead of guessing each and every week. I wasn't going to stop driving until I was making at least $500 that week. And then when I reached 500, surprisingly, it gave me even more motivation to keep driving because anything above that was extra money. So how do you find your bare minimum number? First, you add your monthly totals and then you divide it by 4 to get your weekly target. And that's the break-even point. Don't drop below that, because if you do, you're losing money and that's not sustainable. You're going in the red. A 2025 survey showed that almost 40% of gig drivers lose money during the slow months. And that's because they don't even know what's their break-even point. You don't want to be part of that group. So make sure you calculate that number. Say your essential add up to $2,000 a month. So that's $500 per week, just like me, that you've got to come to stay afloat. If you're pulling $400, it might feel like you're hustling, but you're actually falling behind. So you really need to figure out what that number is and stay above that number. So the takeaway, track everything, not just your earnings, but also your costs. This way you can plan ahead and switch your work hours as needed. Knowing this number means you're always working towards keeping your head above water, and that's extremely important. Now, here's where a lot of drivers mess up. the hidden costs associated with driving. That's gas, car maintenance, insurance, speeding tickets, parking tickets. Most drivers are aware of these things, generally speaking, but they fail to budget for this. Most drivers think that earnings equal to profit, and that's not true. Expenses are gonna eat a big chunk of that. These things look small, but they sneak up on you and chew up on your earnings gradually, which is very dangerous because you think they're small so you don't see the full impact until it's too late. So let's take a look at the major ones. Number one, gas. This fluctuates a lot based on usage, but also based on the price of gas, because that changes all the time. If you don't pay attention to this expense can devour what you make without even realizing it. Rather than driving nonstop around town, look for places to park near the airport or downtown around rush hour. This way you're saving on gas, but also positioning yourself to get more rides. Car maintenance, oil changes, tire rotation, washing, repairs. You must budget for all of this. So when it comes to your insurance, not all policies cover gig work. So make sure you check with your insurance provider to avoid any unnecessary issues. That can cost you big if you don't have the right protection. So make sure you check on that. Your phone and data. This is your lifeline since you need this to operate your business. Shop around for the best rates from different phone carriers. Prices may vary greatly carrier to carrier, but most of them provide similar reliable service when it comes to your phone or your data. So why pay more than you have to for the same reliable service? Shop around, it would help you. Now, your customer service experience is another story. Some are good while others are just horrible. But for the purpose of this video, we're just focusing on the data and the service that's provided. And honestly, when it comes to this, they're all the same. Back during my driving days, I underestimated gas so badly that sometimes I was spending more on fuel than what I made during that day driving around. And that's really crazy. So one thing that I did that helped me was that I started tracking every mile, every gallon, and I did that and it changed everything. Now, before you say anything, it seems like a lot of work to do, but you don't have to do anything. There are apps and there's AI and there's so many things that you can use to help you with that. I recommend apps like Stride, Mile IQ. They automatically track your mileage, your expenses, and generate tax-ready reports. This turns you from guessing your profit to knowing it. So here's some context. According to the IRS, in 2025, the mileage deduction rate is about 65.5 cents per mile. So if you're driving 1,000 miles, that's $655 deduction. And over a year, that's nearly $8,000 in savings if you track it carefully. Tracking those expenses will help you decide wisely which trips or delivery pay off the most and which ones are draining instead. Now, let me say this. It's important for me to include this disclaimer right now. I'm not a tax advisor. This is simply my thoughts on the process. So be sure to discuss all the strategies with your CPA or tax advisor. Now let's go back to the video. Okay, so let's talk about budgeting. Traditional budgets don't work for gig workers, and that's because your income is just all over the place. So what I recommend is to switch to a percentage-based budgeting plan. So 50% goes to your essentials, so that would be everything you absolutely must pay. 20% is gonna go to taxes. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. 15% to savings. And finally, the best of all, 15% for your flex money. Use this for snacks, gear upgrades, or a little fun. Whatever it is that you wanna do with your money, you wanna blow it, you wanna spend it, you wanna eat it, you can go ahead and do it. And it's extremely important because this will allow you to stay on track and consistent with your budgeting. If you're able to budget money to have a good time, you're gonna be able to stay on track for the other budgeting, which will be your essentials, your taxes, and your saving. And this will help you moving forward financially. So set up separate accounts and automate your transfers. This will help you get to your goals a lot faster. So gig workers get hit with surprise tax bills all the time. And this is because they don't plan ahead. Most gig income is considered self-employment, which means that you're responsible for making your quarterly estimated tax payment. So if you miss on this, Uncle Sam is gonna knock at your door with penalties. So the rule of thumb is save 20% of every paycheck in a dedicated tax account. That's extremely important so that you don't fall behind. Now let's talk about your taxable income. For those who don't know what taxable income is, it's basically the income that the IRS is going to recognize and ask you to pay taxes on. This amount is not the same as your gross income, which is the total income that you've earned during the year. So the best thing you could do is reduce your gross income to a lower taxable amount as much as you can. legally. And you do this legally using deductions and all those things. And again, I'm not a tax advisor, so make sure you check with your tax advisor or your CPA. But for the purpose of this video, you want to track your deductions carefully. That would be your mileage, your business related expenses like your phone, your gig gear, your car maintenance, and even some of your utilities if you have a home office. So maximizing your earnings isn't just about hours worked, it's about strategy. You can start by making sure you're on more than just one platform. This will increase your ride count considerably. Driving on multiple apps like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Instacart gives you an opportunity to pick the highest paid jobs. You can also work during peak hours. Friday and Saturday nights are very popular because people like to go out. Morning rides before 9 a.m. is also popular because people are going to work or going to the airport. But another tip is get to know your city's hotspot. And those are usually not hard to find. These are usually the airports, concert venues, or busy shopping district that tend to pay more because there's a lot more activity during those times. And lastly, don't forget tips because those add up. Deliver with a smile, be punctual, and maybe add a personal touch. But keep in mind, some drivers like it quiet, so don't talk too much if you don't have to. Keep your car clean, comfortable, and be respectful. And trust me, it counts. You will get tipped if you're nice and provide a great service. Now, there's no way for me to sugarcoat this. You have to have savings, period. So set up a gig savings fund. And it doesn't matter what it is. Just start stashing $10 to $15 for every payout. Having a cushion is extremely important, no matter how small. And one more thing, don't skip on your credit. Use your credit card wisely, build up your credit, because a strong credit score means cheaper car loans and even better rental opportunities, which further helps you with your finances. Your bare minimum number will drop considerably because your car payment is lower and so on. So don't skip on your credit. Work on it. Now, driving without insurance can be financial suicide. You can get sued, you can get into an accident, or whatever. There are so many possibilities for you to get screwed. Most auto policies exclude gig work, so you have to make sure that you have the correct policy to make sure you have the right coverage. In addition, check with your rideshare app. Some of them do have add-ons on insurance. If you can, sign up for those as well. And finally, explore healthcare options like the Affordable Care Act plans, because protecting yourself is literally protecting your income. All right, fam, so here's the real talk. Gig life is tough, there's no doubt about it, but you don't have to let the ups and downs control your bank account or your peace of mind. So with the right strategies we just covered, the clear budgets, the expense tracking, the tax prepping, and those smart earnings hack, you've got the blueprint to turn this hustle into a steady winning grind. You got this. Now remember, it's not about working hard every single second. It's about working smarter, planning ahead, and protecting yourself. You got what it takes to turn this hustle into something big and legit. Now, if you found this video helpful, drop a comment below and share your biggest takeaways. Or if you have any questions for me, put it in the comments below and I'll be more than happy to answer each and every question. Now, more importantly, smash that like button if you're ready to take control and get this money. Till next time, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.